Welcome back, everybody, to Golf Talk Live. And I'm really excited to have tonight's featured guest, Joshua Doxtator. He is the general manager at Harbor Shores Resort, and he's also a highly accomplished Class A PGA professional who serves as their general manager and in Benton Harbor, of course, Michigan. And over a career spanning more than 25 years in the hospitality industry, with over 20 focused entirely on premier golf course and resort operations. Joshua has earned a reputation for transforming bottom line performance, building high execution team cultures, and driving major professional tournament operations. So he's very well versed in how to handle every aspect of the professional golf business, and we're excited to have him back. So Joshua, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So I guess what we'll do is we'll start off talking about some of the unique development, if you will, that's taken place at Harbor Shores over the years. So maybe what you could do is maybe share some of the unique stories about its development from what it was to what it is today. Just give us a little bit of the history of the development and how Whirlpool has sort of helped to change everything that's going on now.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the early 1900s, Whirlpool called Benton Harbor home. And since that, they had a ton of manufacturing, industrial jobs, things like that, 60s and 70s booming. And then everything started moving out of the area and things like that. So it took a huge toll and impact on Benton Harbor itself with all of these industries moving on. In Harbor Shores, Whirlpool had always committed to never leaving, to being in the community, staying in the community, committed to the community. And I believe it was 2001 or 2002, this vision came about of creating what is now Harbor Shores, which is something that is destination driven, to not only create tourism dollars and things along those lines, but to create an environment where talent, the best talent in the world, would want to be at the North American headquarters and global headquarters for Whirlpool Corporation. So, with that being said, it was a lot of work, and it took a lot of time to get it done. 29 different parcels had to be purchased over about 10 years to make this happen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's an undertaking in its self. Never mind all of the development that's gone on, but yeah, just to be able to acquire that, that's a pretty big, that's a heavy lift, to say the least. So to be able to do that. So talk about what has taken place, I guess, in the last few years. I know that you guys have done some upgrades along the way. You can talk a little bit about that. But first, before we get into that, how did golf and the Jack Nicklaus signature design impact the development? How did that sort of help with Harbor Shores?
Well, like I said, back in, I believe it was 2002, in that time frame, this vision came about. And the person who I report to is the previous chairman and CEO of Whirlpool, Jeff Fetting. And he was really the driving force and factor behind this whole thing. And, he is always someone that if it's going to be done, it has to be done exceptionally well. And it better be done right. And, it doesn't matter what the expense is. Let's make sure we do what we need to do to make sure that people are wowed when they come to the property and things like that. So Harbor Shores is 450 acres. The golf course itself, your average golf course is 130 acres. So when you look at that, that's a huge, expansive, property that the golf course covers. And it goes over a lot of different terrains. You play probably 4 different ecosystems when you play the golf course, which is really kind of cool. But ultimately, for Jeff, he had a relationship with Jack, and Jack's not arguably, he is an icon, best to ever play the game, won the most majors, right? And he wanted his signature on this golf course. So when he asked Jack to do it, Jack came in, and his first comment was, "You want me to put a golf course where?" I think there was 13 or 14 different routings before they finalized what it was going to be, Harbor Shores. But ultimately what he created is he's also said is one of his best creations he's ever made.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Nicklaus always, when you look at a lot of the Nicklaus designs that he's done, he certainly not only has brought his best on the golf course, but when putting together the plans for future courses, has done a phenomenal job. So that's a definite feather in Harbor Shores cap to have a Nicklaus design, especially a signature design as part of the development. And speaking of Nicklaus, we're not going to do it right now, but we got a short little video. I'm sure many people have probably seen this over the internet over the last several years. It's a very interesting video. We're going to play that in a little bit and get you to give us a little bit of the backstory, but obviously involves Mr. Nicklaus. But we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. But let me ask you, so it's been probably about 16 or so years at least. So what does the community look like today? And was it what Whirlpool envisioned when they originally had their vision? Is it sort of meeting their vision standards, or has there been changes? What's gone on since they first came to light?
Yeah, I think, I'm extremely blessed to work with the man who had the vision to be able to put this thing together. And it's changed a lot, right? So like you have a vision in mind, and then as things happen, we hosted 6, Senior PGA Championships. We had all these things, coming into the community and things like that, and developments with housing and other opportunities. I think it's far exceeded the expectation, but now that bar has gone up quite a bit. From that original $900 million investing into this community to where it is now, and what we're doing, upcoming and ongoing, is continuing to move that bar upward. And, again, it's the commitment to the community. Whirlpool, they're here, they're going to stay here. And they've always been a catalyst to make sure that they take care of the community and those around them and the schools and things like that. So it's great to be a part of that. Being here 7 years now, being a part of the community. My boys are both in the school systems and things like that. And, everybody knows that, without the driving force that is, Whirlpool and some of these different things, it wouldn't be what it is today.
Yeah, Michigan's a beautiful state too. I mean, people don't, for people that are newer to golf, let me say this: Michigan has obviously some great tracks all over, but it's just a beautiful state in general. And Harbor Shores obviously is one of the premier places in the state to go and visit, and so much so that you guys hosted for a number of years the Senior PGA Championship. I think from 2012 to 2024. How did having that event impact the community? And also, do you have any favorite memories from when they had that?
Well, I mean, every other year when we hosted, it brings millions of dollars to the community, right? Just from ticket sales to corporate sponsorships to, basically it's a global commercial, right? Because it is a major championship. It's, televised around the world. People get to see Harbor Shores. And we're hosting the legends of the game, Colin Montgomery, Bernhard Langer, Rocco Mediate, some of these guys that have been on tour for so long, who I grew up watching.
Yeah, me too.
And I would say those memories, or the memories for me, are getting up close and personal and creating relationships with these guys that I grew up watching playing golf, right? Having a close relationship with Colin Montgomery, having a close relationship with Bernhard Langer, smoking cigars with Rocco, and just, just stories and things like that. Like it's been incredible in that respect, but it's also when they come and they play, a majority of the players would just say how exceptional Southwest Michigan was in treating them, and how the spectators treated them, how we treated them, the hospitality, and that they looked forward to it every single year to be able to play in this event. So I would say those are probably the best memories that I have in this.
Well, and that says a lot because, these guys have been virtually everywhere in the globe. I mean, they've played, some phenomenal golf courses. They've been to some very exotic destinations. And so for them to speak very fondly of not only the state of Michigan, but obviously your neck of the woods, that has to give you a certain sense of pride to say, wow, like we've impressed these guys so much. They want to keep coming back year after year, and obviously did for many, many years. And again, as you said, sort of develop some relationships. And, for those that, look at and say, the Senior PGA, these guys still got game. That's the thing, Bernhard Langer and all, I mean, these guys are still, it makes you sick really when you watch how good some of these guys are, still at their age now, and they're thinking, man, they're still, smoking them out there, their drives and so forth. But I don't think people that if they've never been around the game, and especially if they've never been to a big event like a PGA Championship and Senior PGA in this case, don't really fully appreciate just what goes on. It's almost awe-inspiring. You know, if you're new to the game, I always say to people, if you're new to the golf game, even before you pick up a golf club yourself, go to an event. Just watch these guys and the gals too, and just see what it is, how they compose themselves, how even through bad shots, how they handle themselves. And you'd be surprised at some tips that you can take away from that. I want to talk about something else too that you guys are doing, both Harbor Shores and of course Whirlpool. You guys have created over the time a real mission, if you will, to impact the youth in the community. And there's a lot of different ways that you're doing that. You guys have the Whirlpool Community Charity golf event, and that's been held now 21 years and has raised, a big number, over $31 million. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, being in golf as long as I have, and seeing different charitable initiatives, let's just say, right? Even sanctioning an LPGA Tour event when I was in Green Bay and seeing that and what that did for the community and charitably and things like that. But for this, 21 years ago, it started at one golf course, Point of Woods. Harbor Shores wasn't even built yet. Now it's 6 golf courses over 2 days, raising over $3 million every year. Yeah. It's incredible, right? So when you talk about that, you have 640 to 650 golfers coming in to play golf over these 6 golf courses, and just take, time to invest in our community, little Southwest Michigan, right? And you have over 10,000 youth impacted on an annual basis through this event. The Boys and Girls Club, the First Tee of Benton Harbor is fully funded through this. 3 local schools, Benton Harbor, Lakeshore, and St. Joe, the robotics. So, you're talking about, again, $3 million in 2 days. That's way up there, right? Like,
yeah,
and I know the PGA Tour does some really, really great stuff, but like, we're not hosting a PGA Tour event. We're just hosting people who come in and want to support something that they believe in. And, it's been incredible to watch because it continues to grow year over year. Our guests like Jack and Tom Watson and, Charles Woodson and all these people who come in to support it. It's been exceptional.
And from the kids' standpoint, you mentioned a lot of the organizations that directly benefit from this operation, we'll call it, the schools and obviously specialized programs and things like that. But it also gives a sense for the whole community because they see that, okay, it's not just these big corporate, types that are doing this and going out and playing golf and organizing charity events. They're actually impacting their local community. So the kids see that as well. And I'm sure it bodes very, very well for them to, for their future, not just on how they grow and develop, but saying, this is something I'd like to do, be involved when I get to a certain age and can give back myself. So you have to have, I'm sure, a lot of maybe a story or two that you might want to share of some feedback that you guys have gotten over the years from this.
Yeah, I think, our ultimate goal is to, if you can capture somebody when they're young. Like for me, when I grew up in upstate New York, and I played a golf course up there in the Finger Lakes region that I still would call my home golf course. And if I ever go back up there, I have to play it because that's where I grew up playing, right? And I think for us, it's creating that environment for them here right now. This is your golf course. A lot of people are saying, okay, well, Harbor Shores, it's a certain level of expense or things like that. But when you're talking about PGA Junior League, you're talking about First Tee, you're talking about now the Wii course, we want to make sure that every kid has access to everything that we have. So we host all the high schools in the area for practices, for matches, for things like that. We have the biggest junior league. We have 72 kids in our junior league. We started this probably 4 years ago, and I reached around to local golf courses and we said, we can't host a team because we don't have enough kids. Well, then we said, we'll host our own. So we have 72 kids. We host our own league. So just kind of seeing that kind of growth. And then also the First Tee of Benton Harbor, which serves over 1,000 kids on an annual basis. I mean, you have so many of them that have gone on to be Evans Scholars to, a lot of them get, first tee scholarships, who've played in the pure insurance at Pebble Beach. There's so many of them. Our first assistant played in that as a first tee kid 10 years ago. And he is probably the most stand-up guy you could ever meet. You know what I mean? So it's just great to see those in the community who have gone through the process, have learned really great things through these different programs, but continue to stay in the community to support it and bring up the next generation of golfers, and basically just bringing integrity through the game and through them.
Yeah, just on a real quick side note, because you mentioned it in your comments, the Evans Scholarship. I actually had a couple of young ladies from their Caddy Academy program last week on the show, and I know that's very, very big. It's expanding, of course, across the U.S., but that's very, very big. So I'm glad to see that you guys are recognizing that as well, especially for kids. I think it's a great opportunity for kids. What you guys are doing, and obviously what Whirlpool is doing, and just really opening doors for these youngsters. I mean, it's not just all, everybody thinks when it's involving golf, it's just all about playing golf. It's really not. It's really about opening up life opportunities for them, whether they have the opportunity to go through, with the WGA or Evans Scholarship programs and things like that, as I said, or other programs that you guys are doing. And, it's opening doors for these young kids, and it's creating memories. And here you are tonight talking about a memory that you've had from a youngster in another part of the state that you still fondly remember. And when you go back, you make darn sure you're going to play that course again. So the kids that are being impacted now today by you guys in your community are going to have those same memories, many of them, as they get older as well. You mentioned the Wii course, and you also mentioned Colin Montgomery a little bit earlier. How did he get selected for that? And talk a little bit about that so that people have an idea of what the Wii course is.
Well, Colin, he won the 2014 Senior PGA Championship. That was his first major on U.S. soil. So it was a huge deal for him. He went back-to-back, 14 and 15. And he created a great relationship with Jeff Fetting, chairman and CEO of Whirlpool. And through that friendship and he just loved coming to Southwest Michigan. He would vacation here in the summers when they had off weeks and things like that. And I had the opportunity to be able to, go out and play golf with him. And just, again, watching someone, I remember as a kid watching Colin Montgomery and hating his guts because he was on the opposing team for the Ryder Cup, right?
Right.
And they always won.
Right.
Also, speaking of Colin Montgomery, I mean, I think he played in 9 Ryder Cups and never lost a singles match, right? Yeah. So being able to go out and play golf with him and see the same golf swing I saw as a child, and just be able to be on the golf course and share stories and just listen to him talk about what it was like for him going through that process and what it is for, golf in general. And then how Scotland, and when he was growing up, all these, communities had these Wii courses that brought communities together, grandparents, parents, children, where it was just a place to commune, have a good time, and learn the game of golf in an environment that was extremely friendly.
Right.
And that's where this whole idea started. So when we finished our championship in 2024, we had a plot of land that was specifically for caddy parking, and other than that, it was considered a wetland, about 4.5 acres. And we sat down with Colin, myself, and Jeff, and Jeff just said, "Here's my vision." And Colin said, "Yeah, I can see that." And then next thing you know, he's got drawings on paper, and boom, we went off. And so we created this Wii course that is, in the community. Like when we started it, we had no idea how much of an impact it would really have. Of course, everybody has a vision for what they're doing, and they have an expectation for what they're doing. But when it finally came to life and seeing everybody and families coming out there to play golf, to learn golf, where kids play for free, it's lighted. You can play at night. It's an 18-hole putting course. It's 9 holes from 30 to 70 yards. Yep. If you play from the forward tees, you can putt. It's all fine turf. The same conditions you see at Harbor Shores are the same conditions you see at the Wii course. And I think, that speaks volume into that commitment again to, Harbor Shores and saying, you know what, we want to do something. We know that Harbor Shores, from the main course perspective, is a high level, high dollar expense, right?
Yep.
The week course is not. It's you get the same conditions, you get the experience, you get all of those things, but you can do it for less than what you would do if you took your kids to go to the movies. And it's much better for you. It's healthier for you, right? You can do it, and you can spend all day out there for $50 with your family. Like, that's hard to beat, right?
Yeah, it
So
is.
it's been great to see. We finally finished everything this spring, and we're looking forward to having Colin back for the official ribbon cutting here in about a month. And
Okay.
he's been great to work with. He's been awesome. He's been a part of every single process, during the design, during the build. And I can't wait for him to come back and finally see it in its full glory, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so he'd be back in July sometime for
Yeah.
sort of official or grand opening and that. When was it originally slated? Like, when did you begin the process? Obviously, there was as you said, a sit down discussion, talked about the vision, but when you guys actually started sort of breaking ground and getting things moving, when did that take place to when it's completed?
So it's very interesting. Again, Jeff Fetting, my boss, if he wants something done, it's going to get done, and it's going to get done rather quickly, right? So we sat down with Colin. We went over design plans. We went over, the thought process and what we wanted to see through the week course and things like that. So we had everything put in place by the fall of 2024, and then in 2025 in the spring we broke ground.
Okay.
By August, we had people playing on it.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, we're talking, I had never seen, and I've been a part of huge renovations in different, facilities
go
and
that
golf
quick.
courses. They do not. And I got to hand it to, I'll Frontier Golf. They came out, did an exceptional job of just shaping the golf course, putting it down, sodding everything, putting the fine fescue in and things like that. And then Matt Volrath, our superintendent, who is like just really continued to raise the bar every week with just conditions and things like that. And, it's funny. I had someone come to me today and said, that putting green, it's a 15,000 square foot putting green, 18-hole putting green. And he said, I had to touch the grass because I thought it was fake. And it's not. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
it's that good. It's incredible. So, for you to see ground being broken in April and then playing in August, you just don't see that. And now that it's had a little bit more time to mature and go through kind of the processes that we've put in place, like it's definitely shining right now. It's going to be exciting because I can't wait for. So Colin saw it last year. He hasn't seen it since then. So now all the fescue's up, and you have all. It literally looks like something you would see in Scotland. All we need are the little cows running around, and I think we'd be in good shape.
That'll be next.
Yeah.
If Jeff has his way, I'm sure that'll be next. All right, I want to ask you, as I mentioned, we're going to show this in short time here, but I wanted to just talk to you a little bit more about you for a second. You've been, working there for some time. What are some of the, what would you say would be the favorite thing, the most favorite thing, if a number one thing of your job? What do you love the most about your job?
That you get to have the impact on someone every day. Every guest, every person who steps on property, you have the opportunity to change their day, right? And I think that to me is the best part. It's we're here because we only exist because people show up.
Right.
So, and for me and our team, it's understood that if people don't show up, we don't have jobs. We don't have a golf course. Harbor Shores doesn't exist. So it's going to that next level of saying, how do we make people remember us for the experience that they've had? And I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people who've played a lot of golf, and I'm sure you've played a lot of facilities across the country and world. I only remember a handful because of the experience I had, and it wasn't just because of golf. It was because of the people that I met. It was because of the people who went above and beyond. It was somebody who just said, hey, let me do this for you, or this or that, right? Like, those are the things you remember. And I've been to some of the most premier places that you could go to and had the worst experiences
Oh yeah.
because people weren't that way, right?
Yeah.
So I would just say that, for me, number one, I work at one of the most beautiful places, right? At least 5 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And just being able to see new faces every day, in addition to the members that we have there, and creating an environment that is welcoming, inviting, and it's just like you're going to have the best day ever here.
Yeah.
And it shows through those results, right? And we've seen that year over year.
Yeah, and that's a really great point, Joshua, that you bring up, because people want. I mean, and again, I don't say this lightly, but there's 1,000 great golf courses, thousands of great golf courses around, and a lot of great, interesting, different experiences. But you're right; people only remember a handful of places, and it's not just the aesthetic beauty of the place all the time. Sometimes it's just the experience they had, the people that were there, the service they received, the camaraderie. Hey, good morning, Mr. So and So, Mrs. So and So. You're going to play 18 today, or whatever. There's that sort of conversation means a lot to people
Yep.
when they're on vacation or traveling and things like that, and they want to feel like they're being treated as though they're somebody special, because they are really.
Yep.
They're your clients, they're your bread and butter, and you want to make them feel not just that they're having a great experience this time around, but you want them when they go home to say, you know what, we got to go back next year.
Yeah.
Or we're going to go back, whatever the case may be. So you want to do that. What would you say is one of the, and every job has one, what would you say would be the most challenging part of your job at times? There's always going to be some challenges.
Hmm. That's a great question. I mean, as golf course operators, we face challenges every day, right? So like,
Sure.
there's just things that come up. Honestly, being in it as long as I have, the biggest challenge you have is putting together a team that supports the same culture that you put out there, right? And creating a team that is surrounded by those who encourage, support, give the resources to, and say, this is what we're doing, this is why we're here, and we're all on the same page, and we keep score. There's accountability, and with accountability comes execution. And I think for us that would be the biggest thing is, it took some time, but we have a solid team that is on the same page. We're all fighting for the same thing. We all want the same thing.
Yeah.
And, and I tell a lot of my team, like, I see you more than I see my family. So I want to surround myself with people that, I, number one, trust. And number two, I know that when I'm not here, it's in good hands. And, I think, that's a huge part of it. And it's really hard to do, but we're extremely blessed to have that team in place. And, I think, for anybody that's, a GM over a big property or things like that, like, your team is everything. If they're not on board with you, you have no chance whatsoever.
Again, another interesting point, because if not for the first point that you made with the earlier question, if you didn't have all of those ducks in a row, the service, all of that sort of thing, that helps make the challenges that much easier. When everybody's on the same page, everybody understands, here's our mission today, here's what we want to do, so on and so forth. When you've got those ducks in a row, then it's easier to accomplish the first part, to make people happy,
Right.
to make them enjoy that. And again, it takes, all oars in the water. Every oar in the boat goes in the water. And if everybody's rowing in the same direction for whatever that ultimate goal is, ultimately you're going to see the results that you get. And that's what makes it enjoyable. People think, in the golf business, it's all just about playing golf. I mean, we love to play the game when we can get a chance, but it's just, there's something special about this industry, no matter whether you're a player, whether you're a golf instructor, whether you're somebody, a general manager such as yourself, or all of the above. There's just something unique about this industry, and there's something about this game that can frustrate the heck out of you some days, but at the same time, it can be extremely rewarding, unlike any other. And I think that that's one of the things why so many people like yourself get into this industry, because it's a challenge at times, but there are so many rewards that come with it and enjoyment that comes with it that make people enjoy getting up in the morning and saying, I'm excited about going to work today.
Yeah, I definitely think it's you have to genuinely want to create an experience for somebody that they've never had before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it comes down to. It's just, that's the driving factor. Like, okay, what am I going to do today to make sure that each person who walks through that door never forgets Harbor Shores, and for a good reason, because there's plenty of other reasons that people can remember Harbor Shores. Greens are this or that. They're too undulating and da 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 da, like Jack's putt, but Jack proved that wrong. Which is kind of funny, but at the end of the day, I think it's like you said, it's getting up every day and saying, how can we as a team make sure that somebody remembers us for a great thing, a great experience, that we anticipate every need they have before they even ask. And we have a lot of things in place that really kind of dial in those different types of attitudes and characteristics, and they follow them, and it works, and it's a recipe for success for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So great cue, lead into this video that we're going to watch. Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear himself. So this is actually was through NBC Sports and I believe the Golf Channel. This little clip that we're going to see about one of the most interesting and famous putts.
What do you? There's no chance putting it.
Why? You said a good putt.
There's no
Want me to
chance.
show you how to putt it?
You can't. There you go. Yeah, show me how to do it. How about that going in? It bounced that high.
It just to this day still baffles the mind, but this is why he was a legend of the game. So what hole was it, first off? What green was it at? And give us a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't know is this is the most viewed golf clip on YouTube, which is incredible, right? This happened at number 10 at Harbor Shores, par 5, reachable in 2, and Jack's design was he wanted you to get there in 2, but he wanted to make sure that you didn't have an easy third, right? So if you left it short, you had to have a difficult chip up to wherever the pin location was. But where that pin is located is probably one of the most difficult parts of that green. So from front to back, you're probably looking at 12 to 14 feet of elevation change. So when you think about that, I mean, that's a pretty significant change, right? And this was in 2010, Champions for Change, August 10th, 2010. And it was Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Johnny Miller. And they opened the golf course. So if there's a better foursome out there, it'd be hard to beat, right?
Right.
And it was a scorching hot day. It was crazy. But, of course, Johnny being like, this is impossible. I got to hit a wedge. Jack's like, you're not going to hit a wedge off my green, that sort of thing. And, Johnny's like, okay, well, you show me how to putt it. Johnny had, he probably thought like Jack would leave it short, come back down the hill, whatever. For him to make that, I think it was 110 feet.
Yes.
Like, just get up and hit it, and without even trying. Just shows how, number one, I mean, the guy's an icon, right? Like that's what Jack does. And then for Johnny to just be like, he's got nothing to say at that point.
Which is surprising in itself.
Right. So, for us, it was such a cool thing to happen at Harbor Shores. And like I said, there's so many people when they come on site because we do showcase that, right? Like when you get up to 10, this is where the putt happened. And a lot of people don't know that. And then, especially with like our 4 caddies and things like that, when they go out there with groups, we'll put the pin or we'll stand where that putt happened and have them hit that putt. nobody gets even close. It's not even, I mean, I think I've seen, and I've hosted so many writers, raters, media and things like that. The closest I've seen is maybe 8 feet, and Jack made it. So it was pretty cool. It was great to happen at Harbor Shores. And it was great that it was captured on NBC.
Oh yeah. Well, what's really interesting, I mean, the very first time I remember years ago when I first saw that, I thought that's got to have been edited. There's no way he made that. And I thought there's just no way. But what really makes it even more so than the putt is his reaction is just like, hey, no big deal,
Yeah.
but he knows his golf course, obviously. And I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of luck from above, I'm sure, but at the same time, what was really interesting is what you said is it basically left Johnny Miller speechless.
Yeah.
And, because what do you say to something like that? It's like, come on. And then, Watson, he's over there, giving him one of these. And it's like, I mean, he's the bear, but he came out of hibernation that day. And I mean, people will talk about that putt, as you said, and it's, number one on YouTube. And it's one of these things that will be pinned to Harbor Shores for a lifetime, because everybody knows who Jack Nicklaus is. Now, as more and more people are finding out, the backstory, if you will, to that, people are going to say, well, they're going to want to just go there just to see that hole and give it a try. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just in itself is it's like folklore.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
It's incredible. So we've been talking about Harbor Shores. Let's give them some information. If people want to get more information, they want to come up and visit you guys sometime this season. Where can they go to get more information? What's the website? And what are the time frame that you guys are open? Because obviously up in Michigan, you're going to have some colder months where it's not going to be conducive for golf. So where can they go to get more information, and if they want to come visit?
So harborshoresresort.com. Go there. Everything's on there, from the Inn at Harbor Shores to our villas on the golf course, the Wii course, main course. Everything you need to know about Harbor Shores is located there. Right now, it's peak. So from here until probably the second week of October, this is the time to play some golf. So, we're right on the shores of Lake Michigan. It's the only Jack Nicklaus signature course on Lake Michigan. And it's, again, like I said, you play 4 different ecosystems, 4 different terrains. You get everything that Michigan golf has to offer in one golf course. Right. And I don't think anybody else has that.
No, it's just amazing. I mean, there's so much history behind the development, the community, the golf hole, number 10, of course, Colin Montgomery, coming back in July, of course, to sort of have a grand opening for the Wii course, and just the community outreach that Whirlpool and obviously Harbor Shores has to help the next generations of youngsters that whether they play this great game for a lifetime or they just get introduced and have other opportunities that get expanded. You guys are definitely making a big impact in your community, and kudos to you and all of your staff at Harbor Shores. Yeah,
no, it's been great. It's like I said, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. I love it. I love going to work every day. Love the leadership that I work with, and just the vision, right? It's continued. It's not stopping. We're continuing to grow and develop. We got a lot of things planned for the future. So Harbor Shores, there's plenty more to come. So we'll leave it at that.
Well, we'll have you back again when as more things develop and get the next phase, if you will, of development at Harbor Shores. Joshua, thank you very much for coming on tonight and sharing a little bit more history of Harbor Shores. And if you want to hang tight for a second, I'm going to wrap up and then we'll end this segment. All right, so that wraps up another incredible episode of Golf Talk Live. A big thanks to all of my guests tonight, David Kuhn, Michael Wheeler, Robert Kaufman, John Jarish, and of course, Joshua Doxtator for sharing their incredible insights into this game. Be sure to catch Golf Talk Live every week by tuning into the video version available on iGolf Sports YouTube channel, Spotify, or listen to the audio version of the broadcast on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, or any of your favorite platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to help support the show and never miss an episode. I'm Ted Odorico. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week on Golf Talk Live. Remember, keep it in the short grass.